Shalom and welcome to Simchat Yisrael. In this week's Torah portion, Eikev, Moses is really trying to encourage the people of Israel and boost their morale before they enter into the Promised Land. He tells them all about how God wants to bless them and how amazing life in the land will be. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel down below. The people must have been feeling really good listening to this. Wow, God must really love us. He's going to do all this great stuff for us. Aren't we blessed to have such a wonderful God? And just as they're starting to feel really good, Moses says, God has led you through the great and terrible wilderness, fiery serpents and scorpions and thirsty ground where there was no water. He afflicted you, and he let you hunger for 40 years to humble you, to test whether you would follow his laws. Everyone is like, what? Wait a minute, are you telling me that all this terrible stuff that we had to put up with in the desert, all the hunger and thirst, all the heat and exhaustion, all the snakes and scorpions, that was all on purpose? God made us go through that when we didn't have to, as some sort of test? Wait a minute, we've been wandering in circles? I thought this was just a really big desert. Why would God do this to his children? Sure, the old generation sinned, but why was the new generation forced to suffer in the wilderness? Moses explains God's reasoning a few verses later. It's because, he tells them, once they're in the land, and they have all the blessings that God wants to give them, good houses and large flocks and silver and gold, they might say in their hearts, it was my power and my might that has made this wealth. I'm a self-made man. I did it all myself. That seems reasonable. We wouldn't want to get a big head. But what does testing in the desert have to do with that? Moses explains it in very simple terms. He tells them, as a man disciplines his son, so Adonai your God disciplines you. God teaches Israel the same way that we teach our children. Think about when you first want to teach your child the value of money. You could just buy him whatever toys and treats he wants, but he isn't going to learn anything like that. So instead, you give him an allowance. Now if he wants something, he has to buy it with his own money. And he doesn't get that money for free. He has to earn his allowance by doing chores, cleaning his room, washing dishes, walking the dog, not because you need his help to get that stuff done. You give him those jobs so that he will understand that good things don't just come from nowhere. He doesn't get toys and treats because he's innately awesome and he deserves them. He gets good things because you love him and have given him the opportunity to earn them. God is doing the same thing with Israel. God knows that once they're in the land, life is going to go very well for his children. The land will give up its fruits, the herds will multiply, and the people will become prosperous beyond their imaginations. It would be easy for them to forget the source of their blessings, to think that they alone, by their own innate awesomeness, have merited these amazing gifts. So God made sure his children would always know where their blessings come from. He made them earn all the great things they would receive. And just like we don't overburden our children with chores they can't handle, God doesn't make his children endure more than they can bear. Yes, they walked in the wilderness, but God made sure their clothing never wore out and their feet didn't swell. They passed through land with no food to eat, but when they hungered, God fed them with manna and quail. When there was no water to drink, God provided water from stones. Israel's journey through the desert wasn't punishment, any more than you making your children take out the trash is punishment. It was an opportunity for Israel to learn to depend on God, to recognize that their own strength was not enough, and that it's God who gives us the strength to be successful. In the desert, God gave us bread directly from the heavens. But when we pull bread out of the earth, remember that we do so by the strength given to us from God. And when we eat, appreciate that the same God of the desert is the one who gives us the strength to earn our daily bread. Shalom and thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe. And don't forget to visit simchatyisrael.org to learn more.